Good evening. Thank you all for being here. September 11, 2025, 7 o'clock, Town of Concord Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. We don't need to do a roll call because we are all here. The board members are here. And one board member is belated and he will join us later. Excuse me, he will join us later via Zoom, but 3 members here. We have a full quorum. We have Kim Johnson here, Elizabeth Hughes, also from the planning department, is remote, and we have Kevin Pickering. He's also remote. Kevin Pickering is our new, brand spanking new building inspector. Congratulations again. So, and so that's where we are. Let me, and I mentioned this before, and actually I'll do that later in a short while. Let's go start off 7 o'clock hearing Karen Prossing, the applicant owner, for the renewal of a special permit under zoning bylaw sections 5.3.15 and 11.6 to operate a tourist home at 280 Sandy Pond Road. The applicant has requested the public hearing to be continued without a discussion to October 9th, 2025. If we are voting to do that, and if I can get a motion to approve that, she will be on at 7 o'clock again on October 9th.
Okay.
So
I move that we continue Karen Prushing's application for the renewal of a special permit under zoning bylaws section 5.3.15 and 11.6 to operate a tourist home at 280 Sandy Pond Road be continued to 7 o'clock on October 9th, 2025.
I second that.
all those in favor? Aye. Okay, that's continued. It's not quite 7:05 yet, so we can't do the next item on the agenda. But looking at, and I've made this comment a little bit earlier here in the room, now that everybody is also on, if you are here and wanting to be part of the discussion of 60 Everett Street or 1606 Main Street, both of those hearings are going to be continued to October 9th as well, at least if I can get a vote at that point in time. But I assume so, and then they will be discussed at that point in time. So if you're here for that meeting, or if you're online for that meeting, you are welcome to stay, but you don't have to, because we are going to be continuing without any discussion. It's 7:05. I have 7:05, so let's do the next hearing. Jill and Mark Engerman, applicant owner, for the renewal of a special permit under zoning bylaw sections 5.3.6.2 and 11.6 for home occupation to operate a professional office at 105 Walden Street. Anybody here to speak on behalf of the applicant? Anybody? I see Ms. Engerman there, so
I'm here.
There you are. There you are.
I'm here. Do I have to speak though? I thought you were waiting for somebody else.
Well, I would like somebody to explain what the application is about. Doesn't have to be
sure.
fully in depth, but it's good to know for us what you're asking for and the reasoning.
Sure. Okay, so this is actually, we're 10 years into my having a home office for psychotherapy. And, you know, as probably many of you know, in the last 10 years, things have changed a lot. So there aren't actually that many people coming to my house. I probably see maybe 20 people in a week, and maybe 5 of them are coming in person. So it really doesn't look any different than, people. I happen to be very introverted. It doesn't look that much different from anybody else in Concord who has people visiting. And I do see high functioning people, mostly, people from Concord, and a lot of them I'm seeing, on Zoom or on the phone, or, as I say, like maybe 5 people uh a week. And if you're familiar with the property, we're set way back, right? We're far from Walden, we're far from Lexington, and we abut Haywood Meadow. So there's really nobody who knows. And if you drive by the property, I think the thing when we made the addition 10 years ago to have a home office, that's when people started to notice that there was even a house there. So we had a garage, and that garage we took off the roof and made a second floor. So you can see the office from Haywood Meadow, but it's not, nobody. I mean, mostly what happens is people ask if they can live there. There's not really much else that is notable about the property. Does anybody have any questions? I'm happy to answer.
Now, before we go to question on the board, I always ask building inspector whether he knows whether there have been any complaints.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
So Kevin is looking for an unmute button.
Yeah, I haven't heard any complaints at all.
Great.
No.
Thank you. Questions from the board?
Have you had any interactions with your neighbors about this? Have they had anything at all to say?
I do know all my neighbors, and
Mhm.
they have nothing to say.
Great.
Because, they know me, I know them, and there's,
Great.
they haven't had concerns. Otherwise, they would have told me, right?
Good. Okay. Thank you.
This is a renewal. How many times has it been renewed? Or for how many
So-
years has she been in the office?
It's
Do we know?
every 5 years it's been. So the first
Right.
approval was 5 years, the second one was 5 years.
First one was
Nice.
5 years. Wow.
So 10 years.
I know. I was
Yeah.
not expecting that. I was not expecting the first one to be 5 years. Yes.
Yeah,
Great.
that because typically we go 1 year, sort of
Yes.
as a trial, then we go to 3, and then we go 5.
Yeah, to see if the
Um,
neighbors have any. Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
I was surprised too, but
Yeah, well, you were lucky.
I know,
Good for you,
gone
good
well.
for you, good for you. We also need to open it up for public comment on this. If there's anybody here or anybody online, please raise your hand. Anybody wanting to speak at this application? Seeing nobody, I'll close the public section of public input section of this hearing and bring it back to the board. And
Sounds good. I don't think there's any reason we shouldn't renew for 5 years.
that's,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
go ahead.
Can I do
Your
it?
turn.
My
Your
turn.
turn.
I submit for the approval for Jill and Mark Enderman, applicant and owner for the renewal of a special permit under zoning bylaw section 5.3.6.2 and 11.6 for home occupation to operate a professional office at 105 Walden Street.
I second that.
All those in favor? Aye. Congratulations. See you
Oh,
in
thank
5 years.
you. And also I wanted to thank all of you because I know that you have a very difficult job, often a thankless job, one that I would never do. So I am grateful that you do it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you.
Take good
Take
care.
Take
Okay,
care.
bye-bye.
Bye.
But
you
you
may
need her services.
Yeah. 7:10, Holly Salami of the Garden Club of Concord, applicant on behalf of Trinitarian Congregational Church, the owner for the renewal of a special permit on the zoning bylaws sections 5.4.5 and 11.6 for a temporary accessory use to hold plant, bulb, and bake sale in May and October at 54 Walden Street. Just, you know, my wife's a member of the garden club. So, I don't have any financial gain, as I said last time, I only have financial loss on this one. That being said,
My name
Please.
is Pam Nelson. Holly wasn't able to attend.
okay,
The vice president, she's a president. So, we're just looking for the permit our permit was up and we're just looking to continue it. We have this plant sale every year, and all the profits go to community outreach. So, and we've got the okay from the church. I believe we've signed all the necessary documents. So I don't know if you have any questions for me or.
and so how long is this permit for? Is it just for, this is not a yearly renewal, no?
No, it's every Saturday before Mother's Day.
Yeah, but this permit, is this just for this year?
No, I believe it's 5 years.
Okay, you're getting it 5 years,
Good.
because I couldn't remember whether,
I think we've been doing it for quite some time.
yeah. Questions on the board?
Have you had any comments from anyone in the neighborhood?
No,
Okay, great.
we're really very respectful.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
And I helped with the plant sale a bit, and I've been there, yeah, I've dug some plants. So I'm familiar with it. It's always the Saturday before Mother's Day.
Great.
So it was a good day, always a good day. So
It's a one-day event,
just a one-day event.
Okay.
spring and then the fall.
Yeah. Opening up for the public, anybody, any comments? Seeing nobody online, seeing nobody here. Bring it back, closing the public comment section, bring it back to the board and waiting for a
A motion.
motion.
Has Kevin got any comments, any previous issues with it? Just. I know it's,
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything, no, I'm sure it's a lovely event. I can't imagine anybody complaining about it.
standard profile.
Good.
Good, good.
Right.
I move that we grant for Holly Salemi of the Garden Club of Concord on behalf of Trinitarian Congregational Church, the renewal of a special permit under zoning bylaw 5.4.5 and 11.6 for a temporary accessory use to hold a plant, bulb, and bake sale in May and October at 54 Walden Street.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations. We're running a little bit ahead of schedule, so I'm not gonna do our 7:15 yet. I would like to go to administrative business. We had two sets of meeting minutes that, so August 14th, so the last meeting, and the August 26th site visit. And
They're both lovely.
they were both lovely, so no comments. I'll take a,
I move that we accept the minutes of our August 14th meeting and our August 26th site visit.
Second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, good. Thank you.
Zipping along,
Well, yeah,
smart.
don't get your hopes up too high. 7:15 on the dot. Kathleen Moore of Coldwell Banker being the applicant on behalf of Richard Laughlin, the owner, for the renewal of a special permit on the zoning bylaw sections 5.4.5 and 11.6 to hold a one-day large outdoor event at 11 Main Street. Anybody here to speak?
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Peggy Yeoman from Coldwell Banker, Gwen Cook from Coldwell Banker in place of Kathleen Moore, who could not be here.
Very good.
This would be our third annual flea market
Mhm.
in the parking lot of 11 Main Street where our office is. It's quite a great event. We get tons of items and I price them all low. And we have a live band and the proceeds go to Open Table. So it's from 9 to 1 on October 4th. And that's what we needed the permit for.
Yeah. But, any questions?
How many years in a row have you had the?
This is
event?
our
Sorry,
third.
This is your third. Okay, and so you came the first year, you came last year, and now you're here again.
Mhm.
Okay,
It's just for the one day, I think you give a permit.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we can do a
Is it
longer.
1 year or
Do we do it every year for an event?
Be nice to.
Yeah, no, we just did for the garden club, right? They had,
Yeah,
so I'm not opposed to that. To stretch that out a bit.
Great.
Let me open it up for the public. Anybody wanting to speak on behalf or against this? Seeing nobody, closing the public comment section. Bring it back to the board.
should we look for a 3-year?
We're doing 3 years?
Yeah,
A
let's,
3-year? I see Kevin just dropped. I would ask
Yeah,
a standard question.
yeah,
again.
go
Ask
ahead.
the applicant, has there been any issues, any traffic issues, any?
Sorry, I'm back.
No, it's.
Oh,
Okay, there it is. Sorry, Kevin. No issues?
No issues. I haven't heard
Thank you.
anything, no. Again, another lovely event.
Great.
Thank you.
So I move to approve Kathleen Moore of Caldwell Banker on behalf of Richard Loffman, owner, for renewal of the special permit under zoning bylaws sections 5.4.5 and 11.6 to hold a one-day outdoor a large outdoor event at 11 Main Street for 3 years.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good, congratulations. See you in 3 years.
Good.
We just might.
Thanks for the invitation.
Welcome to come with a lot of money. Right? Spend it.
Response.
Yeah, yeah.
Announcement.
I'm gonna pause for 2 minutes because we're so effective. tonight. Very efficient.
Yeah, give you a chance to exit.
Thank you.
Thanks, yep.
Mhm. Okay. That is good. So Robbie hasn't come yet, all right? Just, see some more people that joined, just reiterating that the two items that we had last on the agenda being 60 Everett and, what was it, 1606, I believe. Yeah, 1606 Main Street, will be continued to our October 9th, meeting, and we will not be discussing those agenda items tonight at all. So if you online waiting for those to be heard, then you might wanna start doing something else because it's a lovely evening. $720 Vanessa and Arturo Sado, applicant and owner for a special permit on the zoning bylaws, section 715 and 11.6 to demolish the existing attached garage that's 14.8 foot from the side property line and to construct a new attached garage that extends the non-conforming side setback to 7.5 feet at 126 Old Marlborough Road. Anybody here to speak on their behalf?
Hi, good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Vanessa Sita, and this is my husband, Arturo.
Excuse me,
And,
Theo, Robbie just, joined the meeting.
Okay, Robbie, let's do, well, we can't do a roll call,
Wait.
but. Yep.
Yep.
You there?
Confirming I'm here.
Okay, thank you. So Robbie is our our fourth ZBA member, zoning board member, so he'll be participating now as well. We're at our 7:20 item, Ravi, that we're just starting, so sorry.
No,
Please go
I'll just
ahead.
give you a brief overview of why we're presenting this to you. So I lived at 126 Old Marlboro since 2014. I met Arturo a little bit after that, we got married. And it's a modest house, it's just under 1,500 square, representative of that portion of the neighborhood, but not large. We've never wanted to expand it dramatically, so that's not what this is about. We've been working to make it more functional. I'll talk about what that means. So since the pandemic, we both work remotely full-time. Big surprise, we don't have an office to go to. So we spend a lot of time in the house. So again, this is about making it more functional, and it's about mostly the entryway. And also, and access to the back patio as well. It's small scale improvement, so it's designed to enhance the livability without compromising the character of the home. Is it possible to pull up the pictures? Because I wanted to talk about the pictures that I had put up.
Yeah, Elizabeth, you're gonna do that? You also. Excellent.
That's it.
Good.
It's very familiar. I don't know if anybody else can read what that says, but so this is the front of the house, the existing house as it looks right now. And what we're talking about, there would be no change to the main part of the house, but we're talking about is the little entryway that to the side of the garage side, yeah, exactly right there, and the garage that we have right there. So it's to remove that existing garage, which is 11 feet wide. The entryway right now is 4 feet. And it would expand that to 7 feet, so allow us a little bit to step into the house. From there, if you go to, I think we have the next picture is the backyard, just to take a look at the back perspective. From that and from our neighbor's house. The side of the house, the neighbor's house is the quieter side of the house. Their driveway and entryway is on the other side. And so I just wanted to say that. On the next slide, and this is where the picture is worth 1,000 words, I think it's the next, yeah. Okay, so this is what, when you walk into that driveway, into that entryway, on the right, this is the door. On the left is going into the house, on the right is going out of the house. So that's it. There's no place to put coats, shoes, anything, so that's us going in and out. Families, elderly family members going in and out, guests coming in and out. It's an old colonial. So we're trying to, it's 85 years old. And we love the character of the house, and we're trying to keep that character of the house, just make it a little bit more functional. It's non-conforming, so the non-conforming part is already on that side by a few inches, and that's. In order to do something, we've discussed a number of different options with our contractors, with how we can do this. Wish there was more room, but with working with what we have, so the other options that we have explored included relocating the garage to the backyard, right? So with the understanding, our awareness is the setbacks would be different if it was outside the perimeter of the house. However, it would technically comply, we wouldn't have to go through the ZBA process, but it would obstruct the views of the backyard and the trees. Something both we and our neighbors deeply value. So the aesthetics of the neighborhood would change a little bit in terms of from the front yard, from the driveway, also from the backyard, and our neighbors to the left can also see the backyard. So looking at the natural landscape is important to us, it's important to them, rather than looking at another structure, garage. So that's why we wanted to go through this proposal to better preserve the shared green space that we have. So again, just in summary, not a large scale expansion. We wanted this to be as thoughtful and considerate as possible, but with a functional update that just reflects how we live. I realized I didn't talk about the garage, so I just want to talk about that briefly. It will be slightly larger Again, it was a small garage, it will fit a car right now and really nothing else, very similar to a lot of the houses around here. So making that slightly bigger from 11 to 15 feet to allow for some of the other things that we need to store in the garages and this. So anyway, that is really a summary, but happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Question from the board? You?
Yeah, so in looking at the photo, we can see that your garage stops before your driveway stops. So the driveways looked wider than the garage, is that
Yes,
right?
Yes.
So for the new garage, how much further will it go than the edge of your driveway?
I don't think it will.
Okay,
I think that already.
that's what it
is
looked like to me. That's,
past that. I don't remember the exact.
It's about halfway in between. So the garage stops, say here,
Mhm.
then where I park my car.
Yeah.
Kind of goes to here, the garage will go like halfway.
Oh, I
into it.
see. Okay, but
So
not all.
it's not like it's gonna go all the way to the other side, it's only a 7 foot,
We're asking for 7.
variance.
Yeah, sure, makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that
good, thank
driveway
you.
predated us moving in, so
Yeah,
we didn't put it that way.
and I see you had a letter from a neighbor. Is that the neighbor who's right on the other side of the driveway?
It's not that
Hmm.
neighbor, it's the
Okay.
one on the other side. Arturo did speak to the neighbor on that side. I don't know if they're here or online, but
Any reaction from them, or we'll wait to hear from them?
Neutral, I
Neutral.
guess,
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
They did express concern that we might have just a flat wall with no windows, so we're gonna make sure to put in a couple windows.
oh,
yeah. From their perspective, yes, we will be closer to them. In terms of the depth, the new garage would start at the same place that the current garage is right now. That's not changing. It will go 2.5 feet longer, so not substantially different.
Right.
So it just will go a little closer, but they're looking at a garage now and they will be looking at a garage.
got it.
Mhm.
Good.
Go.
So it's still a one-car garage,
Yes, still a 1 car and 1 story.
okay,
We are not,
Okay.
yeah.
Good.
so the movement is caused by the addition of the corridor addition, and then some added width within the garage itself.
Yes.
And you're not going further back, you're going sideways, is there an opportunity to go deeper without making it as wide, so you wouldn't impinge on the setback as much?
We will be going deeper as well, by a couple feet.
2.5 feet.
Right, but you're adding 7 feet to the side of the garage. And all of that in the setback,
Mhm.
so you're increasing the impact, right? My comment is, can that storage space be in the front or in front of the car instead of on the side of the car, so the impact to the neighbor would be less?
So the reason that we picked, 7.5 feet. 7 feet is a little different, so it's 4 feet right now, if we need room for an entryway, so 3 feet as much of a. Right now, the garage is undersized, it's 11. If an average size garage, I looked it up, is like the 15 feet that we're asking for is well within kind of midpoint in an average size for a 1 car garage currently.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we came up with that. And, if we were to shrink it at some point, it just becomes economically not a viable project
Right.
to do that. And so that's why we know the setback, if we put the garage in the backyard,
Mhm.
it would be 5 feet. And we didn't want to do that, so we're not asking for that here. We're asking for a little bit more.
And I'd like to add something about the entryway. Right now, it's 4 feet, right, the entryway.
Yeah.
What we wanna do is have a place, so if someone comes in from the outside, they have a bench or something to sit down. That way,
More of a mudroom.
yeah, kinda like a little mudroom and a closet to hang coats. And it's tough to do that with 4 feet.
It will also have a sliding glass door with access to the backyard, so we needed something for a little bit of room for that. Right now, there is no direct access to the back patio and there's no other place in the house to do that. So this will just facilitate
Your way.
people outside. So that's how we came up with that.
One other question, Elizabeth, can you bring the pictures back up again? So you already addressed the driveways remaining the same, so you're not increasing impervious surface, right? You have 2 trees right on the side there as well. Are if your addition completion, let's say, finishes right where the asphalt is right now, is that?
It's a little shy of that.
It'll be
Little
shy
shy
of
of that,
that,
okay.
yes.
Okay,
We care about those trees, and minimizing the impact to those trees. They are not our trees, they're our
so
neighbors.
that's kind of where I was headed.
Yep. And so in terms of that, we did measure it. It would, the closer one would be about 11 feet from the new foundation
Okay,
there, and, you know, we again, don't want to impact, want to minimize the impact
Okay,
to those
okay.
trees. And we'll work with the contractors to make sure heavy equipment isn't there and
Okay.
as much as.
it's just
Good.
impact on size, traffic, impervious surface, vegetation, all the typical ones we check.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
And Ravi, do you have any questions?
Are we gonna hear public comment? And then I sort of have more discussion than questions, so.
Okay, Elizabeth, did you have anything? You have your hand raised.
So depending on, should the board move forward and grant the special permit, if the applicant is willing or the board would like, you can include a condition that tree protection measures be implemented prior to the issuance of a building permit. Technically, you cannot, they are not required to get a tree preservation permit because those trees aren't on their property. But the board can include a condition that they implement tree protection measures that get reviewed by myself prior to the issuance of a building permit. And that would just be fencing, similar to what's required under the tree preservation bylaw.
Thank you. Yeah, I like, sort of, it all makes sense, the plans of the house and all. But I have a bit of a technical question, and I'm calling on Kevin here. Kevin, question for you. If I read this bylaw, I think this is a variance in my mind, and you can talk me off of that, but I think this is a variance. Because they're increasing the nonconformity. If you read 715. I think this is an increase of nonconformity, and it's a technical, bit of a technical matter, and I like the project and all, but I don't, I change upon the determination by building inspector that such proposed reconstruction, extension, alteration, or structural change does not increase the non-conforming nature of said structure. And it's increasing the non-conforming nature of the structure by a significant amount,
Yeah.
That side is already encroaching the setback, so it's encroaching further into the setback, so it's an extension of the nonconformity. I've always, I believe special permits have been granted for similar cases.
Yeah.
I may be mistaken, but
I've not had any, we grant special permits if, you go higher, you go wider, you have more, but not deeper into the setbacks. That, I don't believe we have, and actually there is, but if you 714, exactly, the extension of an exterior wall at or along the same non-conforming distance with the required yard shall require a special permit from the board. That's a special permit we've given on a regular basis. Or, you know, when you're 10 feet and you're building something bigger that's then 11 feet from the property line, that sort of item we allowed, but we have never, to my knowledge, allowed a greater increase. So, I'm not sure, Elizabeth, you want to chime
Well-
in? Oh, go ahead, Kevin.
No,
Go
Sorry, go
Kevin,
ahead.
you-
Yeah.
And yeah, we're still not in the discussion phase here, but go ahead.
So the board has, granted, that extension of a non-conforming structure, and that's only under 715 for single and two-family dwellings. The first part of that section, the building inspector can issue a building permit if you have a non-conforming single or two-family dwelling, so long as that extension, is item A, B, or C. So if it's a legal non-conforming lot and they're doing an addition and the addition meets all of the required setbacks and height requirements, the building commissioner can issue a building permit. If it's a existing non-conforming single or two-family dwelling based on setbacks and somebody's doing an addition and that addition meets the required setbacks, the building commissioner can issue a building permit. It's for any extension, reconstruction, or what's the other word? Alteration of a single or two-family dwelling that extends the nonconformity that requires a special permit and the finding by the board. So I do know of some other projects where that has been done, but it hinges on that finding that extension is not detrimental, substantially more detrimental than the existing non-conforming structure to the neighborhood. But I can do some more research and pull up and get different decisions if that's something that the board wants, or if the board wants to get an opinion from town council. Kevin and I can make that request.
Yeah, so we'll wait on that. Let's pause sort of because we're sort of meandering here into a discussion, and wanted to open it up for public comment first here and
I mean,
for the record.
Elise Stone,
Dress.
288 Old Marlborough Road. I have no issue with the project. I get it, but I've been working here for 30 years. And I'm sure Elizabeth is right, but we have going into a setback so much is a variance. John Minty made that clear when I first started working here. And he felt that that was a dangerous place to go because then everyone wants that, and we'll come back to that as a precedent, right? Like, look at this one's only 7 feet. This one's only 3 feet, at what point do you, so in my mind, it was always that you could, if your nonconformity was 10 feet, you could go that 10 feet. If your existing nonconformity was 2 feet, you'd go the 2 feet. And that's the way that I always understood it. I mean,
Yeah.
It just seems like I never thought that was a special permit personally. But
Thank you. Anybody else from the public here or online? Seeing nobody, hearing nobody, close the public comment section. Ravi, you had a point of discussion.
Yeah, and I was sort of in the same place as you, right? Like, I can see a reading of 714 that, oh yes, there's an exception. If you're under 715, you get out of the variance. But then that second sentence kind of muddies things because it's like, if you stay at the same non-conforming distance, it's a special permit. So if you're beyond the same non-conforming distance, that just makes it a little bit ambiguous for me. And like you, my sort of understanding is, right, if you're in the setback a certain distance and you stay that distance, we get around an increased non-conform. You're still putting more mass in that distance, but that's where we get comfortable with the special permits, typically.
Yeah. So, I would like, I want to be very certain here. I mean, as I said, I like the project. I think it's a good project, but I think we're in a dangerous spot here. So, and in order for us to make a right decision, I think we should ask opinion of town council. Kevin, you want to chime in? Please do.
Yeah, I'd just like to add, and the existing structure is non-conforming. So extending the non-conformity, we're not creating a new non-conformity here. It's an extension of a non-conformity. And if John Menti interpreted it in a way in that, nowhere is it written, or at least that I know of, that it defines a distance. If you're increasing it by a certain amount, does it become a variance? It's already non-conforming. So we're not creating a non-conformity here. It is an extension of a non-conformity.
We're extending the non-conformity, and I don't want to go where it's like, well, we're already in the setback, so now all bets are off. Now I can do whatever I want.
Well, I suppose that's why it's at the discretion of the board. But whether the difference between it being a variance and a special permit, we're not creating a non-conformity here.
No, correct. No, but that's why it says, increase the non-conformity is what the bylaw says. So again, just the fact that we are having here a good discussion about it makes me really want to go to town council, because we have all different opinions here, or we can all make different interpretations of this bylaw. And I think going to town council, I think is a good one here. I think that's fair. It's fair for the applicant to get a very sound legal opinion.
To Kevin's point, I'd say that yes, it is non-conforming right now, but in such a minor way, 6 inches versus 7 feet. So I think it's a proportional discussion as well as just it's not, you're a little bit pregnant.
I don't see that if I read this. If I read this, if there is a wall that you can't go beyond that wall, you can extend that wall, you can go higher, but you can't go beyond that. And that's what, to me, the zoning bylaw says. So
I agree, but, all I'm saying is that yes, it's non-conforming, but just by such a small amount right now. Now you're making it considerable non-conforming.
Yeah.
Is there any effect, does the driveway, the location of the driveway have any effect on our non-conforming?
No, just the building and the overhang. Yeah. Stop on. So, Elizabeth, we can get something off to a question up to town council, right?
So yes, the request goes through the town manager, but that usually is turned around in a day or so. But yes, I will formulate the question. I can, Kevin and I can put something together. I can run it past the the chair and then make the request to the town manager.
Thank you, thank you. So that said, I'd like to continue this meeting till this item to October 9th.
7:10.
Hmm?
7:10.
I'm gonna push those two back.
Okay, at 7:10.
Okay. I move that we continue the discussion of Vanessa and Arturo Sado's application for a special permit under zoning bylaw 7.1.5 and 11.6 to demolish the existing attached garage that is 14.8 feet from the side property line and to construct a new attached garage that extends the non-conforming side yard setback to 7.5 feet at 126 Old Barbaro Road.
Second.
All those, well,
Yes.
since Ravi is remote, let's do roll call.
So I made the motion.
I'll second it.
Oh, no, well,
Oh,
I
Ravi
think
seconded,
he's
sorry.
that, well,
Seconded it, so he can.
yeah, so all those in favor, Ravi?
Aye.
Elizabeth?
Aye.
And chair votes aye as well.
Great.
So we'll see you then, next month. 7:25. Abigail Flanagan, applicant and owner for special permit on the zoning bylaw section 7.1.3 and 11.6 to demolish the existing 331.5 square foot detached garage with a roof overhang that extends beyond the property line and construct an 1,164 square foot detached garage that will be set back 0.02 feet from the side property line at 398 Main Street. Anybody here to speak in favor or about this
Abby
project?
Flanagan, 398 Main Street, and this is Elise Stone, who's our architect on the project. And before we get going, I did want to just provide the board with one update that we were seen by the HTC last evening and received approval.
Excellent.
So just an update as to where we are logistically.
Yes, so I think, I don't know if the drawings can be pulled up. I think the most important one are the site plans.
Yeah,
So, I mean, this is the, I have these here if you want to see them. You want me to?
Got it.
Okay, all right, so that's the proposed. So the back left corner is the one in question. And that is, the existing garage sits on that corner now with a very big overhang that goes past the side, the sideline. And so, as you can see, we're making the garage so it actually fits two cars. Can't really flip over too much further to the right. Won't be able to get in with the side entrance and to get to the backyard. So we've held that back corner the way it is, pulled the overhang so it doesn't go into the other property. And then everything else goes to the right. So, I mean, this is a case where we're, keeping the nonconformity exactly where it is. So we haven't increased it. We're increasing the massing. It is a two-story structure.
and you're
Yes.
pulling it back from your neighbor's
Exactly.
property.
I'm pulling it back from the property.
About 4 inches.
We do have a letter from the people on the left and they approve it. Their garage is right there. And then there's a third garage, that's the top left point. So, all the garages are kind of together and that's HTC last night saw that and, the massing all made sense back there. There is a two-story garage, the one at the Vons, the one in the back left is similar height to this. The height increase is 5.5 feet. It's going from 16 feet to tall now to 21.5 feet tall proposed.
And that's the ridge line, right?
Exactly, that's the
Right.
ridge line. That's the top of the ridge, yes.
Yeah, so my brief to Elise when we were designing this was what's the smallest possible footprint and lowest possible ridge line that can kind of fit what we need programmatically. And so, we kept going down in width and finally she said, you're gonna have to find out the back of your car if we make it any smaller. So It's about as tight as a 2-car garage can be, and then we've designed it with a mansard roof, which allows us to have usable space with a lower ridge line. So that was all kind of part of the planning process, and we considered alternate locations. The issue with our lot is, as you can see, it's a very odd shape. You might be familiar with this, it's right in the split of Main and Elm. And we could have tried to move it directly into the front yard. I think the HDC would have had some objection to that. It would also require a substantial increase in impervious surface, new curb cuts, and a loss of mature trees. Same with moving it further into the backyard. It would have substantially either increased the driveway or required a curb cut from Elm Street. And the other unique thing about this property is a lot of people have maybe 1 to 2 town trees. We have 27 town trees on our property, most of which are substantially mature trees. And so this position allows us to maintain all of the trees on the property. I have to move my peonies and my roses, but they're gonna be banked. But everything else stays the same.
Yeah, the driveway stays the same.
The driveway stays the same because we're building the structure forward a little bit. The amount that we have to increase the driveway to the side, it sets it off, so it's not an increase in impervious surface. So we tried to be as thoughtful as possible. But it's a oddly shaped lot. And so this was the location by maintaining that back corner. Maintaining the nonconformity, not increasing it, improving it ever so slightly was kind of our best solution.
Great, thank you. Questions from the board? None here, Ravi,
No question.
no questions. Bring it, opening it up for public comment. Anybody from the public wanting to speak on this item? None here. None, on Zoom. Closing the, public comment section, bring it back to the board. Anybody wanna talk about this, discuss this? Hmm?
I'm concerned about the comment about no new nonconformity. Because your location, your back corner relationship to the tightest point is consistent. But you've increased the footprint that's in nonconformity by about 20%. Your footprint is larger. And your height and mass is considerably larger. So your volume in nonconformity has gone up twice to 3 times. The building is 2 or 3 times larger than the existing one. So you're bigger. Yeah, you've moved it as close as you can to the house, and you've gone up. You've also added another use to it's not just a garage anymore. So you now have another use in the nonconformity.
Yeah,
So you've piled one on top of another.
yeah,
And
so
so,
interesting to stay with, well, Elizabeth has a hand up and what Kevin has to say here. This has always kind of bothered me about the zoning bylaw. That, you know, as long as you don't come closer, you can add bulk in, you know, and that was like, you're not increasing the nonconformity. That's what the zoning bylaw allows us, and that's what we routinely give special permits for. Although you're not coming closer to it, to a property line, bulk always gets added.
Yeah.
And that is not seen by the zoning bylaw or by this board as adding to the nonconformity.
Okay.
So, and, you know, and somebody else can chime in, but that's. I hear you, I always struggle with that. It's like, no, you put more bulk in it, so you're increasing them, but nope. That's not what the zoning bylaw says. So, Elizabeth.
I was just gonna basically say the same thing, not and so eloquently, but the nonconformity only deals with the setback. And that is the only thing that the board is looking at, and whether the extension, reconstruction, alteration of the single or single family dwelling increases that nonconformity or is it substantially detrimental to the neighborhood? So for this particular project, the proposal is actually decreasing the nonconformity since currently the garage extends over the property line. And to your point about use, there is no new use being introduced. This is a single family dwelling and the uses of that single family dwelling, whether somebody uses it as a garage or an office or a playroom or so use doesn't enter into a discussion about nonconformity when you're talking about a single family dwelling. So I just wanted to make that point.
It's a
Yeah.
good comment, but outside of what we
Yeah,
have the
yeah.
authority
So-
to talk about.
Right, but so the only thing you're concerned about is distance on the ground
The
perpendicular.
only thing
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
open.
Tony does, right.
So
But-
714, the extension of an exterior wall at or along the same non-conforming distance within a required yard shall require a special permit of the board. So they're talking about, as long as you stay in a line, you can extend that wall and it's
Right.
just a special
So
permit.
increasing more footprint, other parts of the setback doesn't matter.
Correct.
Doesn't matter.
Right.
Or-
So-
or not
so,
only
Theo,
within the
um,
zoning code. That's
For the
what we.
previous application, this will be part of that question, but it has always been my understanding. 714 is for non-conforming structures other than a single or two family dwelling. Single and two family dwellings are governed by 715. So that
Okay.
that will be included in the questions that Kevin and I proposed forward for the
Yeah.
previous
Okay.
application, but
Okay.
it'll provide the board clarification in the future.
Yeah, good, thank you. Ravi, do you have anything?
Actually, was there a mention that Historical District Commission had looked at this? Is
Yeah, they
Sure.
just mentioned that they got approval last night.
they got approval? Okay, thanks. I thought I heard that. Yeah, I mean, to me, they are, I guess minimizing the bulk. It's in the right place on the lot. In terms of neighborhood character, I think we can give weight to the HDC, having looked at it as well. So I'm generally good with the project here, and it has the great benefit that now we don't have somebody's building going over a lot line, which is good to clean that up.
Yeah, and I know there was one abutter that sent in a letter, or were there two?
There was one, the
There's one.
Kleiners whose garage is
Okay,
about 4 feet from ours, also a non-conforming, tucked close together, is in favor.
okay, yeah, I saw that letter.
Yeah, and with the cluster of garages in that sort of area, I don't see detriment to the neighborhood from what's changing here. So that's where I am.
Good, yeah, and we haven't heard from the other abutter from the Vons.
So we reached out to them, and didn't hear back. They're in the process of selling their home, so
Oh,
they may
okay.
just not have been
Yeah.
particularly interested in engaging in the process, but
That's good,
didn't hear anything negative.
Great.
So.
okay.
Ravi, you want to take the honors here?
Sure, I move that we grant a special permit to Abigail Flanagan under zoning bylaw section 713 and 11.6 to demolish the existing detached garage with a roof overhang extending beyond the property line and construct an 1,164 square foot detached garage that will be set back 0.2 feet from the side property line at 398 Main Street with our standard conditions.
I second that motion.
All those in favor, Ravi,
Aye.
Elizabeth,
Aye.
and chair votes aye as well. Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Last one, 7:30. Henry Dane, Esquire, applicant on behalf of Carolyn von Braun, the owner, for a special permit on the zoning bylaw section 713, 715, and 11.6 to construct a 232 square foot addition to connect the single-family dwelling to the existing detached barn garage, which is located 1.2 feet to the side property line at 93 Monument Street. Mr. Dane, go ahead.
Thank you. I want to talk to you in two parts. First, I'd like the architect and designer to talk to you a little bit about the design and what is intended here. And then I want to follow that up with the zoning analysis and the various issues that have been raised about the zoning issues that I've provided you a memo on, but will, I think, bear further discussion.
Terrific.
I'm happy to.
Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Carrie Byrne with Carolina Architects. And we've been working with Kurt and Carrie Von Braun, the homeowners, right here, and Henry on the proposed work at the home here. So Kurt and Carrie bought the home just over about a year ago and have been kind of, they love the character in the town and just the community and everything. They, the house kind of spoke to them and just, you know, the character and being so close to the center of town and all that. So they have been making improvements to the yard and the home itself and kind of getting settled. And I don't know if we have the drawings that we could pull up again just to reference, like maybe the site plan. But
Which drawing would you like?
if the site plan that should be part of the package, the submission package from Metro West Engineering. If not, we can just look at the floor.
Existing or proposed?
I'm sorry, proposed. Thank you. And so this is right on Monument Street to the right. And so there's the existing home in the front, which is existing non-conforming close to the street. And there is a detached barn, carriage house, garage along the northern property line over there. So we are proposing that we are making some improvements to the main house. The barn carriage house is staying as is, but the main proposal that we've been exploring is a connection between the two structures. So Kurt and Carrie love the home, you know, love the character that it has, but ultimately what they're looking for is to create a functional connection between the home so that, you know, in this climate in the winter, when they're parking in the garage, they can more safely move between the structures. Right now, there are exterior steps out the rear of the home and a walkway, but just kind of navigating that, you know, throughout the year. They are young, but I'll say aging in place. They're kind of, you know, living in this home, you know, and just being able to, you know, make it comfortable and functional year round. So what we are proposing is between the two structures off the rear of the main house, a connection to the garage right there, exactly. It is about 10 feet wide and about 20 feet long, and it is just a kind of enclosed breezeway. It has a door that would enter in from the driveway side, and also doors that go out to the backyard. And it would be kind of a mudroom connector. Again, really just creating kind of a more functional, safe connection between the buildings. So that is what we're looking at. We did go through historic HDC review. We did get approval earlier this year. We went through a lengthy process with them, really trying to be sympathetic to the style in the home and what is visible from the street and all of that. So we got that approval and we were looking for approval on the existing non-conforming nature of the structures. Which Henry can speak more to.
Could you put up on the screen the proposed the sketch plan, which I think shows most clearly what we're talking about?
The proposed site plan?
The sketch plan, which the proposed sketch plan, which shows that's the corner of the property that says the house and the barn and shows their setbacks from the various the sideline and the front yard.
Okay, so
There's one that has like a blow up. There's like a
okay,
big bubble.
I have a barn plot plan, a proposed site plan, elevations, floor plans.
I think it's the second page of the proposed site plan.
Okay, thank you.
This one here.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
one.
we
Okay,
correct
there we
that,
go.
Marie,
Yep.
yeah.
The proposed sketch plan, that one, yeah, that shows, I think what we're talking about here, which is,
You can take this.
the, this is the existing house, which will be unchanged.
Yeah.
Which is non-conforming slightly with regard to the setback from the street. It isn't quite 20 feet. And this is a 100-year plus old house. And this is the barn, which is 1.2 feet from the sideline, and that also is a 100-year-old plus building. And aside from a few little details, which are adding a bay window and so on, which are, I think, controversial, the issue is the desire to connect the house to the barn with a 240 square foot passageway, single story enclosed passageway between the house and the barn in order for the sake of convenience. Now, this has been approved by the Historic District Commission. We have a certificate of appropriateness. There are no wetlands issues. And if you look at the photographs that are in the application, you won't even be able to see this unless you look straight down the driveway. And so there is no substantial or no change whatever to either the dwelling or to the barn. The only change here is this small structure which connects the two of them. And then that raises the issue that Kevin has talked about, which I would be happy to discuss with you, because I think that's really the key issue here, because I don't think there's really any other reason that this project would raise an issue.
Good, any questions from the board? Anybody? If not, before opening it up to the public, I'd like to hear from Kevin, what Kevin's issue is here, and then I'll open it up to public and bring it back.
I
to
would
the board.
also then like to
Oh,
address.
yeah,
those
yeah,
issues.
yeah, and then, yep.
Okay,
So, Kevin,
so in this situation, it's you're connecting the two structures to create one structure. With the garage being non-conforming, you're creating a non-conformity with that side setback. There's no non-conformity currently on that side with the existing house. So by connecting it to the garage and making it one structure, you're creating a non-conformity on that side. It has nothing to do with the front porch, which is currently non-conforming because there's no construction going on there.
So what, a question for you, Kevin, what is the non-conformity that you're creating?
You're connecting the two structures to create one structure. So if it's currently conforming at the rear, and now you're connecting it to a structure that's not conforming, it's only a foot away, it's only a foot off of the side property, that's creating a non-conformity there.
Okay. Any other questions from the board here? And Mr. Dane, I'll give you the opportunity shortly. No other questions from, yeah, question?
Kevin, in your point that you're creating one structure by connecting it, in essence, does the carriage house become part of the dwelling and therefore entitled to everything else a dwelling could have?
That's correct.
So conceivably, by connecting it, you're extending the use?
So
Well,
use,
that house-
yeah, use
No.
does not come into does
Right.
not come into play.
No, but
It's,
what I'm getting at is, if you connect it and the board accepts its existence, can they go and extend turn it away from a garage into an, something else, 3 bedrooms, whatever it is that I'm trying to find an impact. Is there no impact by connecting it? Therefore, the only impact would really be if there was a change in how it's used. So if by connecting them and allowing them to connect it, and is there anything that then that grants that carriage house to become in the future?
I'm not sure I understand what you're getting at here.
Well. Under
So-
4221,
No,
they
wait.
could convert that
so,
into a single or 2-family dwelling.
No, sorry,
Regardless,
so,
without regard
hang on,
to
Mr. Dane, hang on.
All I'm trying
so-
to figure out, I understand his point that yes, he's physically connecting it. And by therefore, is making that connection. That everything becomes part of the house, and therefore that extension becomes part of it, non-conformity. If the carriage house is already non-conforming and exists on its own, it's a completely independent structure. It's not conforming, but the house is fine. So you're connecting them and saying, by that nature, the house is now non-conforming. I don't see that there's that much difference. So the only difference I could see is that if somehow connecting it allows the use of that carriage house to change.
No, not at all,
Yeah.
not at all.
so maybe I'll, Theo, if you'd like, and Kevin doesn't mind, I'll try explaining it in a different manner. So, currently, the barn is a detached, non-conforming structure. It does not meet the required side yard setback. The house is a legal non-conforming structure only to the front yard setback. It is conforming to the side yard setbacks. So if they were to propose to add this addition, if the carriage house wasn't there, add this addition along with this barn in that location, you're talking about a variance. So it's the same exact premise. The garage is non-conforming, the house is conforming. By connecting the two structures, it becomes one single family dwelling. And you're creating a non-conformity that isn't there for the single family dwelling by attaching it to this detached garage. And that's
Yeah.
a variance.
Yeah.
Use does not come into play. They could convert the barn to whatever permitted use under zoning they wish, whether it was connected or not. So again, use is not an issue. It just has to deal with the existing house is not non-conforming to the
Yeah.
side yard setback.
So the accessory structure is existing non-conforming. Once you attach to the house, it now is not an accessory structure anymore.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's where we're at. But before we go into discussion, and you're still on my list, I just want to open it up for the public because somebody had their hand up at one point, and I want to make sure that public gets heard here, and then we'll bring it back to the board and to Mr. Dane. So anybody from the public willing to speak?
Yes, please.
John Hickling, please go ahead.
Good evening. My name's John Hickling. I live at 111 Monument Street. So my property is the one just to the north with that distance from the barn to the property line of 1.2 feet. We have no problem with it. The barn isn't moving. The house isn't moving. The barn is actually 50 yards from our house. So it's on the far side to the south of the property. And all the construction is on the far side of the barn behind the house. So that is not visible from our house. So won't address the conformity, non-conformity issue. That's your job, but we have no problem with the project because it represents really no change from a contiguous neighbor standpoint.
Yeah. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for your comments. Anybody else wishing to speak?
Thank you.
Nobody, so I'll close the public comment section. And just to continue on the butter here. This is not about whether this is a good project or a bad project. What we just had earlier on, it's like, it's a good project. But does it meet the letter of the law?
Well,
And we don't want to set any precedents. So that's what we're talking about. But it's it's benign, but it doesn't, we don't want to set any precedents. Mr. Dane, you waited long enough.
I think I've dealt with it in detail with the memo that I sent to you. But I want to emphasize a few points from that.
Yeah, please, just get that good on record.
One is that the concept that having a connection between two buildings renders them a single building is nowhere stated in the bylaw. The definition of a building and the definition of a structure does not say anything about whether or not connecting two of them makes them one. There's only one place in the bylaw where that is discussed, and that is in 4221, where the bylaw specifically says that you may not connect them by a pergola or a tunnel. So if it was an issue in a particular situation, but it is not otherwise mentioned as a result, the fact is the bylaw does not in any way dictate that connecting by a trellis, by a stone wall, by a patio, by electrical connections, so on and so on, makes the two buildings a single structure. So that is, it is a concept, but it is in all the cases that have dealt with the impact of connecting buildings, they've always deferred to what is in the local bylaw. And in this case, the local bylaw does not dictate a connection. And it doesn't define what the connection would have to be in order to make it significant enough for them to be a single building. So, but again, if it were an issue, which I think it is not, it is one, for instance, we have the example of 35 Belknap Street, where a long connection was made between two non-conforming buildings on a non-conforming lot. And the building inspector said that that did not render it any more non-conforming than it was before. But assuming that I'm wrong on that, and you believe that this connection somehow makes them into a single building, under section 7.1.5B, you can allow it because 7.14 says you need a variance except as stated in 7.1.5. And in B, it says extension, reconstruction, alteration, or structural change to a structure located on a lot with insufficient frontage, which is what we have, which extension, that is, and that's important, which extension, and we're talking extension is the connecting, the connection, the corridor is the extension, alteration or structural change complies with all current setback, yard, building coverage, et cetera, requirements. And that the corridor is, and I've set forth, is far distant from either the sideline and far distant from the front yard line of the property. And therefore that structure itself is completely conforming with regard to setbacks. So, and the way, so that under 7.1.5B, you can grant a special permit to allow this, even if it turns out that you agree that the connection renders the two buildings into a single structure. And to grant you, this is all a technicality, but if you rely on a technicality to say that it can't be done, if we can show by another technicality that it can be done, and the project is benign, then I think you can grant the permit.
Thank you.
Kevin,
Go ahead.
can you say about why, it would make it into one structure, the connection?
It's, you're connecting the two structures with, it's an enclosed.
Yeah.
You know, it's an enclosure. Connecting the two structures. You know, if you built a new house and the garage was attached to the house, the garage would have to conform to the setbacks of the primary structure, the house, right? If it's not attached, then it's considered a detached garage. But if it's forward of the rear plane of the house, it has to comply with the setbacks of the primary structure. So in this case, it's somewhat similar. If you're connecting the two, it's one structure.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I've seen instances where there is just a pergola between two structures, and then we have one structure. So
we're saying that this actually is one structure. We're not.
correct. With this addition, this will be one structure.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're leaving the idea that this does not create one structure, so it is one structure.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. That's, I think, you know, you have one item, another item, you glue them together, you have, you know, one item.
Here, because I'm a lawyer, not because I'm an architect.
So, yeah,
Just laying it
no, so
down.
I'm, you know, that is clearly, and,
Okay,
you know,
great.
Ravi, I'm always waiting for you to chime in and stuff like
mean,
this. So
my question is, let's say it's a single structure, I still am not quite there on why is it a new nonconformity? Why isn't it an existing nonconformity? I mean, it's like, yeah, the dwelling wasn't in the setback, but the barn was. So is it different that there's an accessory building that's nonconforming in the setback versus the dwelling that's nonconforming in the setback?
So to Robbie's question, there
setbacks,
is,
right?
to Robbie's question, there is a difference. 715 deals with single and two family dwellings. It does not deal with accessory structures.
So then, okay.
Currently
Alright,
the house is.
That's not what we were saying on the last one, where we were talking about 715 could be an exception for a garage. Is it because that was connected to the house?
Yes, because for that project, that garage is already connected
Got
to
it,
the
okay.
house. It wasn't a detached accessory structure.
Okay, but
Here we're not building any new structure. And there is no definition of what it takes to, in the bylaw, what nature and what extent of a connection is required in order to make them a single building.
Right.
And, and I think in the absence of a definition in the bylaw, this is just there's no basis for it, saying that, especially, I mean, I think, remember, this is a special permit, which means you have the ability to, discretion to deny it or to grant it, which means if there were an abuse or this was something that was taking the situation too far, you could still say no, even though you had the power to grant it. So it's not necessary for you to say that, it's not necessary for you to say that, this wouldn't comply, because you can grant the permit and you can also grant the the special permit under 7.1.5, even if you consider them to be a single structure.
So what is the setback here on this lot? Do we know? Top,
On the side,
yeah,
it's 1.2 feet.
no, but the zoning said, the code required.
15.
It's 15 feet.
It's 15 feet, and for an accessory structure, how far, what's the setback there?
5 feet if it's behind the house.
And it's 5 feet, so this is, that's, I think, goes a bit to Kevin's point. That's right, there is only, all of a sudden, you're, instead of being,
Right, no, I get it.
right?
But it makes no sense, because nothing is changed, the buildings are not changing, nothing is moving.
No, but the fact that it's not an accessory structure anymore, but a primary structure. So then that makes the nonconformity larger. Instead of 5 feet, now you now have 15 feet. So you're now encroaching a lot more into the setback.
Without doing anything.
Making it, you're doing something, you're connecting it to a main building.
But you're not moving the building and you're not moving the house, and yet you're
No,
making
correct, but you're changing it from an accessory structure to a primary dwelling. That's the change you are making.
Well, but even if you're doing that, you can still grant a special permit under 7.1.5b. Because the extension is not non-conforming. The extension itself meets all setback requirements. It is some 60 feet from the front yard.
Yeah.
And it is some, I don't know, 40 feet from the side yard line. So the extension itself under 7.1.5b is something that you can grant a special permit for if you care to do so. This is not your typical situation. This is a very unusual situation.
Oh, I know, it is, and it's, that's why I was struggling here.
So you're not going to encounter, you don't have to worry a lot about a precedent because you're not going to encounter this situation very often.
Very often, I can't, right. One moment, Elizabeth.
So already making a request to town council. And should the board wish, Kevin and I can draft something and include this as well in the request. Because again, it gets back to a procedural and a pretty significant interpretation in the zoning bylaw. And while, I respect Attorney Dane, but I also know there's quite a few non-conforming detached accessory structures in this community, and that, if the board is concerned about the potential for setting a precedent for interpretation, then we can make the request for town council.
Okay, that's good to know. I do always feel that it's a bit of a cop-out that we don't want to make a decision, but it is right in crossing T's, dotting I's, so we're gonna go to town council, but you have something to say.
Can I just add, if that's where it's going, can I consult with Elizabeth about formulating the question?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, I think we provide council can provide a council a copy of your memo, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Town council has provided everything that's in the record.
Good, and we've closed public comment section, but there is Tom Catalano wants to say something. So I'll open public comment, and Elizabeth told me this before, I should just keep public comment open because we always let people speak.
He's part of the design team.
He's part of the design team, okay, sorry.
Yeah,
Mr.
thank
Catalano,
you.
go ahead.
Tom Catalan from Catalan Records. I understand the complexity of this issue, and it's something we've been wrestling with for a while. I think we can all agree it's a relatively benign project were it not for the complexity of the zoning bylaw. Obviously, our client's intention is we're not increasing the nonconformity. We're doing everything inside of the setback, and the question that we had, and we addressed this to the building commissioner earlier, and I'd like to get it out in the record now, is what would constitute connecting the buildings? Because we have thrown out the idea of exploring other options where we can get the functional requirements of being mostly able to walk from the garage into the house without being in the weather. What legally would make the buildings connected? If we did the bulk of the proposed addition, but didn't actually physically connect it to the existing non-conforming accessory structure, would we be okay? So we looked at the option of running the design that we have now, but not actually connecting it to the barn, stepping out the side door in the barn, and then going into another door into the proposed connection, proposed addition without connecting the two structures. Would that get us out of creating a nonconformity that we don't think exists?
Kevin, do you want to answer, or?
I don't know if I could answer that right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just not prepared to answer that right now.
yeah. Okay, good, fine. But, and typically you don't deal with hypotheticals, right? You deal with something that's presented to you on a piece of paper. And then you can react to that. But, I agree. And, connecting is connecting,
But what the question is really, can we get close and not connect? Can we get close but not connect?
Is there a minimum distance between the structures?
And that's like, it's a hypothetical, and of course there is not, but there is nothing written down. So if you want the building inspector to make a ruling on something, you should give him a drawing, a piece of paper, and what you want to do.
Which is a way. It's, I think it just opens that question,
Yeah, it's again, it's funny, and it's this would be a workaround. And again, I want to reiterate that, and I think I'm speaking for the board here. Indeed, we'd love to give you this, but it's whether this is just technicality in the law where we can't do this, but it's a let's wait what the town council says. And I understand your reasoning, but I also think that any changing it from an accessory structure to a primary structure increases the nonconformity, and therefore requires variance. So I'm very undecided on this. So it is good to give this to town council.
I would, say let's do that before you go to a fallback position.
Okay. I just wanted to just as a question with respect to that. So I know, the conversation has revolved a lot around how much into the setback or whatnot. And so only to just kind of counter your talking point of if it was only 1.2 feet away from the property line, and that is still 1.2 feet away, is that?
It's a different building use now, like then it becomes primary, so it's subject to a different setback.
Right. So subject to a different setback. So all of a sudden you're a lot more in the setback than.
Does it address like the proportion of the setback, with respect to, technically speaking?
So it's the five feet per accessory,
Yeah.
I get that part. I guess I was just trying to understand if it, and I will read up on it too, but if it specifically address how much of that setback, like if that is a quantitative measure of how much of the setback you are, if it's not physically changing, like we were talking about the horizontal distance. And so if that is quantitative in the proportion of it, as opposed to just the dimension of it.
Good question.
And my second point is that even if you determine that the connection does make them into a single building, why can't you, and that's making it a single building makes it non-conforming. Why can't you issue a special permit under 7.1.5? Which permits you to do that
Yeah,
and
right.
still not require you to change the idea that with regard to the connection, making them a single building, you can keep that everywhere and still give the permit without setting a precedent.
And town council will give us guidance on that.
And that I think is the same question as Marlborough Road, right?
Yeah,
If
very
we
much.
the special permit.
It's different from the one that we talked about, because in Marlborough Road, the garage was actually being moved.
Or expanded.
This is, the building is not being.
But we can, same logic to get you there if we can get Marlborough Road there, I think is what I'm saying. So.
Well, thank you very much.
So
We'll try. So I'll take a motion to continue this.
I move that we continue the application on behalf of Carolyn von Braun for a special. Gosh, I'm the right one. Yes, okay, for special permit under zoning bylaws, section 7.1.3, 7.1.5. And 11.6 to construct a 232 square foot addition to connect the single family dwelling to the existing detached barn garage, which is located 1.2 feet from the side property line at 92 Monument. Will continue it to October 9th at
At 7:15.
7:15.
Second.
93 Monument. I'm sorry, 93 Monument. Thank you.
Ravi just seconded. All those in favor, Ravi,
Aye.
Elizabeth,
Aye.
and Chair votes aye as well. So
Thank you very much. Appreciate your patience.
thank you. Thank you for your appreciation. We try to do our best and we try to give people what they really would like. When applications get here, they're really well thought through and they're really good applications, and it is for requests that typically are deserving of an approval from, like the garage there. It's like, yes, I understand that you want it, but within the rules, you might not be able to get it, and that's, that puts us in speaking for myself here, puts me in an uncomfortable position. Like I want to grant something, but I can't because it's a good project, but I can't. But we need to abide by the rules, and that's a bit,
We need
it's
to work to find a way that we can get.
right, and this zoning bylaw is rather flexible. I've found, so we're working on that, and we'll see where we get.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nothing easy is worth the trouble.
I heard you say that before. Thank you. So we are now to 7:35. Paul Mahoney Architects, the applicant on behalf of Henry Dane, the owner, for a special permit on the zoning bylaw sections 4221, 627, 6213, 713, and 11.6 to allow the conversion of an existing carriage house with a non-conforming side yard setback to an additional dwelling unit that exceeds the allowable gross floor area and FAR at 60 Everett Street. The applicant has requested in continuation to the October 9th meeting, which we have slotted them at 7:20. And if somebody can move, I'll second that. Just move it.
I moved that way and I second it.
No, Rob is going to second.
Okay, I'll move that.
I'll second that.
And all those in favor, Elizabeth,
Aye.
Ravi,
Aye.
and Chair votes aye as well. Then 7:40, Jeffrey D. Cronin and Joshua Norton, the trustees, the applicant on behalf of Philip S. McCoy, the Esquire, and the owner, For a special permit on zoning bylaw sections 4221 and 11.6 to demolish the existing 2,183 square foot single-family dwelling and construct a new 6,716.5 square foot two-family dwelling at 1606 Main Street. The owner, the applicant has requested a continuation to our October 9th meeting, and we have slotted them. We're gonna slot them at 7:25, and if you can move that.
So moved.
Second,
All those in favor, Elizabeth,
Aye.
Ravi,
aye.
and I vote aye as well. That's it. Motion to adjourn.